Welcome back to the Battle Camp. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about Billy Joe Saunders and his current situation, stroke predicament, stroke what a monumental fuck up it's been since he failed his drug test and missed out on the chance to defend his title against Andrade. And we all know how that's unfolded. I've made a couple of videos about that at the time, so feel free to check those out. The thing I wanted to talk about is, if you're not aware, you should be. He basically was going to move up a weight division and fight at £168 for what they presume to be a vacant WBO title. It then transpired that the holder, who was meant to be vacating the title, Gilberto Ramirez, basically said, no, I'm not giving up this title. I'm going to move up to 175, have a fight there, but I'm still holding my super middleweight title and I'm going to defend it against my mandatory challenger. So the WBO basically said, oh, okay, fair enough, leaving Billy Joe Saunders effectively holding his stick in a fight with a guy that no one has heard of, not for a title. So it's been a mess. Now, if you believe what Eddie Hearn said with regards to the offer that he made to Billy Joe Saunders to fight Andrade in America, there were millions of pounds on the line. According to Frank Warren in an interview with IFL TV today, he said this isn't the case. So I don't really want to talk about this whole mess with the WBO. I just want to talk about Billy Joe Saunders' situation right now. Because literally a year ago, he was right, not even a year ago, let's say 6 months ago, he was right in the mix with the guys at the top of the middleweight division, the 160-pound division. And we're talking about the likes of Triple G, Canelo, names like that. And he was going to defend his title against Andrade, who's a highly rated fighter as well. So he was in a position to test himself against the best in the division. And if you listen to Billy Joe Saunders, he kind of, one of the things that he always says is he's not motivated by money. He's motivated by proving how good he is, and he wants to test himself against the best. So what I'm trying to say is he was in position to do that before this failed drug test. The point I want to make in this video is I watched an interview that Kugan Cassius did today with Frank Warren, and they started discussing Billy Joe Saunders, and it's now apparent that he's not going to fight. Let me look up his name because no one had heard of him before. Shefat Isufi. So the guy who was meant to fight for this vacant title, which is no longer vacant, Shefat Isufi. Apparently, or judging by what Frank Warren said in that interview with IFL TV, I'll put a link to it in the description. Judging by what Frank Warren said, that fight isn't going to happen now. He's going to be fighting someone else. And Frank Warren said it's for a title, but he didn't say what title. So I'm guessing it's for an interim title at £168, which, I mean, probably, I don't know whether that gets him into a position to be a mandatory challenger against someone. I don't know what the fuck. I've literally no idea. All of these governing bodies seem to make up rules as they go along. He's basically, Billy Joe Saunders has kind of blackballed himself. And it's not his fault, and I'm not even blaming Frank Warren for this, because if the WBO have told him that there's a vacant title on the line and they've put Billy Joe Saunders in a position to challenge for that vacant title, it's not their fault that the WBO have gone back on what they've said. It's entirely the fault of the WBO, because if they hadn't had written confirmation, or if it wasn't confirmed with Ramirez, they should never have said that the title is vacant and these guys can challenge for it. The thing that kind of annoyed me with what Frank Warren was saying earlier is he was kind of discussing Billy Joe Saunders' career, and then randomly he just started having a go at Chris Eubank Jr. Basically saying, I can't believe he doesn't want to avenge that loss, basically trying to draw him out, sending for him. And that kind of annoyed me, and the reason it annoyed me is they, being Billy Joe Saunders and Frank Warren, have spent the last couple of years, ever since they fought the first time, basically dismissing Chris Eubank Jr., his talents as a boxer, and just the fight the first fight, that how easy it was for Billy Joe Saunders. He wasn't even fit, and he just went in and dealt with him. And they've literally spent the last couple of years saying he's nothing, he's shit, he can't fight, blah blah blah. We want the big boys. We want we want Canelo. We want Triple G. This is what we want. We believe we've got the best man in the division. All that kind of stuff. And now he's basically trying to bait Chris Eubank Jr. into fighting Billy Joe Saunders. And it's funny how things can turn around, because Billy Joe Saunders just a few months ago was a world champion. Now, Chris Eubank Jr. has a version of a world championship belt, an IBO title, which majority of us don't class as an actual world title. But it feels like Chris Eubank Jr. has actually got more momentum and stock than Billy Joe Saunders has. And that's mad to me, because Billy Joe Saunders has never lost a fight. And I can't remember off the top of my head when he fought Lemieux, but people were raving about him after that fight. And I think he's had one fight since, which was when he came in at like 170 something pounds, just to kind of keep him going after he failed that drugs test. It's a shame, because I like Billy Joe Saunders, but it just feels like his career has no direction. And this plan of fighting at 168 pound, I mean, I said at the time I don't think he should be fighting at that weight class. He should be, he's comfortably an 160 pounder. But now it's just looking a bit desperate. Frank Warren kind of calling out Chris Eubank Jr. because that's probably the biggest money fight that Billy Joe Saunders can get at this point. And it's just a shame, really, because he's a talented fighter and no one wants to fight him, because obviously it would be a risk for anyone. But at the same time, it's kind of his own doing. And the worst thing in all of this, I'd argue that Chris Eubank Jr. is actually the biggest draw out of the two of them. And that says a lot. Because on one hand, you're saying, I can't believe Chris Eubank Jr. is kind of running away from this fight and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But what has he got to gain from fighting Billy Joe Saunders, apart from avenging a loss? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Frank Warren's comments. I feel like he contradicts himself heavily. In fact, earlier on today, Kugan Cassius, I'm going to go off on a different note here, but Kugan Cassius basically asked Frank, okay, let me rewind a little bit. When Eddie Hearn announced the pay-per-view between Derek Chisora and Dillian Whyte, Frank Warren had already announced that Carl Frampton was going to fight Josh Warrington on BT, and the shows clashed. They happened on the same day. And Frank Warren was fucking going crazy about this. Literally every chance he got, he was spitting feathers, just literally saying, oh, how disrespectful, Eddie Hearn don't care about the fans, blah, 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 blah. And then now, Eddie Hearn's had a show announced on, I think it was March 23rd. I think it's the Copperbox show where, oh, fuck, what's his name? Oh, how could I forget his name? The young guy. Anyway, there's one in one of the lighter weights. Sonny Edwards. No, this is his brother. Anyway, there's basically a young guy that's fighting. He's a world champion. I should have remembered. I can't believe I've forgotten his name. And there's a few other. I think Buatti's on that card. I think Okoli might be on that card. It's quite a good card, actually. And Frank Warren's announced a show in Leicester on the same day. And when Kugan Cassius asked him about it, check the video out and see what his response is. And it's fucking annoying, because why moan so much and then just do the same thing that you were moaning about? Like he tried to make it look like I care about the fans, I care about what the fans need and stuff like that. All he cared about was the pay-per-view sales for the Warrington and Frampton fight. That's literally all he gave a fuck about. He don't give a fuck about the fans, because if he did, then he wouldn't be putting on a show on the same day as one that Eddie Hearn's already announced. And I hate that kind of shit. I really hate that kind of hypocritical kind of behaviour. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about Billy Joe Saunders in the comments below. Let me know what you think he should be doing next. Do you think he should have taken that Andrade fight? Do you think he should, I don't know, Chris Eubank Jr. try and chase that fight? Let me know what your thoughts are. Also, please don't forget to like the video, share it with a mate, and most importantly, please hit the subscribe button. I'll catch you fuckers next time.